This is the Greg Bedard Patriots Podcast with Nick Cattles.
It is the Greg Bedard Patriots Podcast with Nick Cattles, brought to you by our friends at Athletic Greens, your one-stop shopping for 75 high-quality vitamins to help you start your day right. Greg, let's talk about Monday night's game against the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. Your overall thoughts on the game after watching the film?
I thought it was a pretty pathetic NFL game, to tell you the truth. It was, especially once Kyler Murray went out after the third play of the game. It just kind of felt like almost like a preseason game between the Cardinals and the Patriots. I mean, I just, at the end of the day, I think, if Murray plays in the game and the Patriots defense does a good job and they get out of there with a victory, even though that's what we all were expecting, even if Murray played in the game, that would have been something that you could take out of this game. I just don't know. I just don't know what you can take out of this game at this point. I mean, the Patriots offense was pedestrian. They threw a bunch of screens, a bunch of quick games. The couple plays that they threw down the field were basically blown coverages, bad defense by the Cardinals. The Patriots go ahead, get the game-winning score when DeAndre Hopkins just drops the ball and Raekwon McMillan picks it up and goes in for a touchdown. The Patriots got most of their pressure after that point as far as the defense. Yeah, Josh Uche did a nice job, and so did Matthew Judon. But I just had a hard time, thinking of very much to take away from this game other than a couple things. The Patriots rookies, the guys the younger guys who got a shot in this game due to injuries, they did a nice job. They know how to handle themselves against a bad football team. And that's what this Cardinals team is. It's a bad football team at this point. They might have had promise earlier in the season. That's long over, especially now with Murray on the shelf. And the Patriots, once they get the score in their favor defensively, they can do some damage. They can close out a game and get pressure. The problem is with this offense, will that ever happen very much? I don't know. So, look, I hate to be Debbie Downer, but, it was one of those games where you watch it on your film and you're just like, it was almost as bad as watching it live, which you all did, where we're just like, oh, my God, do I really have to watch this? But, that's where they are at this point.
The first half was brutal. The first half especially was just absolutely awful to watch. It's week after week with this team where it's not necessarily a fun, exciting venture to sit down for 3 hours and watch them play football. And that was the same thing on Monday night. As far as Uche and Judon, look, I think Uche obviously has popped the last couple of weeks. The question is, Greg, is there a reason for excitement? I mean, you can go back to Monday night and say, well, the Cardinals had a bunch of injuries up front. Their offensive line isn't great. But when I'm watching, if you can get a semblance of a rush, even if you don't get what you're getting exactly from Uche the last 2 weeks, but I think you go back to early in the season. I saw this tweet from Evan Lazar. He's got like a 26% win rate or something along those lines, which is like second to Myles Garrett going back to like week 2 or 3. So, Uche has really developed and stepped up and made some plays. Reason for excitement with Uche and Judon on the edges, two athletic guys who can get to the quarterback.
A little bit. I mean, they've certainly shown you, something. I don't think that they were all that effective when the Patriots were losing 2 games. And And part of, a lot of times I don't like numbers because, you can't compare Myles Garrett, who plays every down, and so he has to rush in every sort of situation, to Josh Uche, who is really a sub-package rusher and plays more when the score gets tilted in their favor or they have to rush or the opponent has to pass. He only rushes in prime pass rushing situations. So to me, I throw that stat out the window. I mean, others can certainly disagree with that. And yeah, I like those guys. I mean, I watched that game and I'm just like, I keep having thoughts of, well, why didn't they put him on the field last year? This is when, I was screaming all year, like, can we get Uche on the field? Because at least I know he has speed. And it just takes Belichick so long to put some of these guys on the field. And it's just, disappointing. I mean, it's good that they do have a combo there. The problem is, to unlock that combo, the Patriots have to be up 2 scores. And I don't see that happening very often from here on out.
Fair enough. I would say, first of all, I don't think Evan was trying to compare Myles Garrett to Uche.
No, I'm sure he wasn't.
Statistics that,
yeah,
the effectiveness of Uche, but I would say at least he's making more of his opportunity, and at least when he is out there, it is an immediate impact, which is nice to see. It is a positive amongst the season that hasn't had, a ton of positives. The fact that when he's out there and they give him the opportunity to make a difference, he's doing it consistently now. So I know Judon said a lot of nice things about Uche in the post game, calling him the best pass rusher on the team. I think Judon's being a good teammate there, but it is nice to see, at least when he is out there and they give him the chance to make a play, he's making plays more often than he has in the past, which is improvement. Let's jump to the offensive side. I saw your tweet on Monday night about Matt Patricia's screen playbook or whatever with the giant book and the guys flipping through the pages. There was a lot of talk, Greg, on Monday about Matty P's screen game. And, during the Josh McDaniels years, I always wanted them to throw a couple of more screens. But Matt Patricia literally threw, I think, the most screens that we've seen in a football game. There was some kind of stat they showed during Monday Night Football saying they threw 11 screens at that point. They might have thrown more after that play, in that it was like one of the highest screen games in the NFL or the most screens called in a game this year. Your thoughts about the offensive approach on Monday night and what Matt Patricia called?
I'm trying to choose my words carefully. I thought it was one of the most pathetic displays of NFL offense that I've ever seen in terms of what they did. I don't care really about the end result. I mean, look, if this was, and I've seen the Patriots have approaches like this against some sort of dominating front where they say, we're not even going to try to run the ball because they're so good inside. We're just going to spread. We're going to throw quick. Like, okay, yeah, I get it. I see that. If this was the 49ers on the other team, I could see the Patriots taking that approach and I would be on board. I get it. I understand. You're worried about, Bosa and Armstead and all these guys. I get it. The freaking Arizona Cardinals, like that defense is a clown show. It's terrible. Like they came in DVOA, one of the worst in the league, the worst defense in terms of scoring, the worst red zone defense in the league. And you got to play scared like that? I mean, seriously, Nick, it was like, this is, if you go out to a high school field on Friday night and you see for instance, I live in Medway, Tri-Valley League, go Tri-Valley League. If I go to Medway Stadium and I see Medway, which is usually, they struggle a little bit in football, near the bottom of the TVL, and they're going against, say, Holliston, who, competes for a Super Bowl every year. Medway would come out and say, look, we can't go toe to toe with these guys. We just can't. So we're just going to throw bubble screens and quick games and draws. And, we're going to take our chances. We're going to take our shots once in a while, but they got to be really good and things like that. That's basically what the Patriots did against the Arizona freaking Cardinals. And I can tell you, I am in, and I don't even see all the tweets on my timeline, but I put out, a tweet today. And my tweet said, not sure I've seen an NFL offense so scared, timid as the Patriots on Monday night. They approached it like an overmatched high school team. You could understand it against, say, the 49ers, but the Cardinals, what is going on? And I got to tell you, the excuse making is just over the top. I mean, oh, well, their offensive line isn't very good. They have injuries. They lost their running backs. They lost Devontae Parker. Like, the crying, the whining is just pathetic. First of all, Nick, correct me if I'm wrong here. Yes, the Patriots had Connor McDermott at right tackle. I understand that. Did they not have 4 of their other starters out there?
Yes.
4 of 5 starters, like guys, except Cole Strange, he's a rookie, first-round pick. This is, game number 13 now. He's not a rookie anymore. You have Trent Brown, who you paid. You have David Andrews, who you paid. Michael Wynn, who's one of the best right guards in football. You can deal with an injury at one tackle spot. The Cardinals don't have like 4 of their 5 offensive linemen, and they're doing a little bit more on offense than you with their backup quarterback, mind you, who didn't even run the game plan for this game coming in. You lose. Okay, you didn't have Jacoby Myers. Okay, it's not like we're talking about, I don't know, Devontae Adams or anything like that. Or, when you lost Devontae Parker, I understand, but you still have Kendrick Bourne. You still have Hunter Henry. You still have Jonnu Smith, guys you're paying out the wazoo. You still have Tyquan Thornton, who you drafted, who's been getting reps. You have, and the running back situation, I don't want to hear any crying about the running back situation. Damian Harris gets hurt all the time. They've been running Ramondre Stevenson into the ground. They refuse to sign a veteran running back. They refuse to put one like a Brandon Bolden type on this roster the whole time. They made their bed to go with the rookies. They made their bed. They won't even elevate J.J. Taylor. They made their bed. I don't want to hear any freaking excuses about the Patriots offense against the freaking Arizona Cardinals in week 13. I don't want to hear it. There are no excuses. What they showed on Monday night was a pathetic high school offense. And they should not be running that in week 13. And to me, it's about the offensive line and it's about the coach. I think Matt Patricia came to the realization, or Bill Belichick told him, look, you obviously have no clue how to script a downfield passing game. So this is what we're going to do. And we can't run inside because we can't block. The offensive line that you coach can't block the run or the pass. So we're just going to, instead of running the ball outside because we can't get outside on anything, we're just going to throw quick passes and an extension of the running game. And so that's the offense that they ran. There are no excuses. This is where they are by their own doing, from coaching and personnel. And I don't want to hear any excuses, and sorry for ranting, but God, I'm sick of this crap.
Well, it's your job today to rant. I ranted last week on both episodes, so it's okay if you vent a little bit. Look, I'm going to try to thread the needle here, and it's a very difficult to thread. The offensive approach and the game plan is the game plan. It's the offensive approach, and you're going into that game with that plan no matter who is on the field, right? Matt Patricia and Bill Belichick and Mac Jones and Joe Judge and Rothstein, whatever the hell his name is. He might be involved in the offense now, like Greg reported last week with the passing game. The collective minds in New England came up with that plan. And that was the plan before the injuries. That's what they wanted to do in the game, right? I don't think any of us believe that Matt Patricia is good enough, with all due respect there, Matty P, to on the fly completely overhaul the offensive game plan when Devontae Parker and Ramondre Stevenson go down. So it's just no. They went into Monday night with that plan. So I don't think the injuries impacted the plan. However, I will say going into the game, I said they'd score 23 points or so. And I said that last week. Again, check mark for us. We were right against the spread. We've done pretty well this year if you've been keeping count. But I said 23 points. I think I said 23-17. And, you look at the fumble by Hopkins and the scoop and score. The offense scored 20 points. So I wasn't surprised that they scored, 20 offensive points on Monday night, even though that is one of the worst defenses in the league. With that said, I do give them some credit to continue to do enough. And I'm not telling you it was an unbelievable offensive display or that any of the stuff that Greg said about building this team is incorrect or that Matt Patricia, is a good offensive line coach or a good OC. None of that is true right now. But I do give them some credit that, you're down your top 2 receivers. Your third receiver, Nelson Aguilar, is the most inconsistent dude I've ever seen play the game of football this year. He'll make a spectacular catch. He'll make a couple of catches, then he'll drop 2 footballs. He'll fumble something. So, you're one of the only receivers that you trust can't consistently catch the ball. And so you also lose your best offensive player this season in Ramondre Stevenson. And I do think that that's a big deal. And so I do credit some of the guys, Pierre Strong and Kevin Harris and Kendrick Bourne, those guys making the plays, and Mac Jones. I will say that they deserve some of the credit that people, I think, are throwing their way because of dealing with the adversity. But again, the offense in the big picture and going into this game, it's not good enough. It hasn't been good enough. And I don't think any of us believe it's going to be good enough. The Cardinals, let's talk about this team. They stink. I don't think they're well coached. They lost their starting quarterback on the 3rd play of the game. But Greg, you're watching and you're saying to yourself, man, if this team has an opportunity right now to at least keep this game close, if not beat the Patriots on Monday night, but they just kept shooting themselves in the foot. I thought the Patriots were very fortunate that the Cardinals could not help themselves but screw things up on their end.
Yeah, I mean, look, they missed that field goal early. That happens. They had a fumble with the running back, just like the Patriots did. But to me, the critical juncture in this game was starting with the 3rd and 1 play, right before they went for it and Jelani Tavai got his hand on it. First of all, the 3rd and 1 play, the play that Judon made, I don't know if you remember the play, Nick, but the 2 blockers on the left side, and I think one might have been a tackle and one was a tight end, or there were 2 tight ends, that all of a sudden they went out to the left. They didn't block Judon there on the end. And I was watching that game. I was watching that play on film today. And that's a Kyler Murray play. Like, that is supposed to be a legitimate read option there, where if Judon does what he does, which is crash down on the back, like if Kyler's there, he pulls the ball back and he runs around left end. They get it. It's probably a big play or something like that. And so I can't believe that Kingsbury called that play for Colt McCoy when there was no option on the play. So then they go to 4th down, and it's actually a good call. And the dude is wide open, and Colt McCoy, because he's 36 years old and he's Colt McCoy, makes a terrible throw like that Jelani Tavai can get his hand on. That's not a great play by Tavai. It's good that he made the play that was right there, but that's a bad play by the Cardinals. And just to go for it there, Nick, I don't know how you felt about it, but in the moment, and even, I tweeted this at the time, like, dude, take the points, put the Patriots down 2 scores. And, hopefully he makes the 49-yard field goal there. Now you're up 9. Now you're burning more clock. Because first of all, I did not understand it from Cliff. Like, they had just burned their last timeout. There's 36 seconds left. Do you really think you're getting a touchdown at the end of the drive? If the answer was no, with no timeouts with this outfit, more likely they trip on themselves and have a holding call. Now they're out of field goal range. Like, he should have kicked it, run a little clock, like the 4 or 5 seconds for the field goal, then kicked off, in play, ran a little bit of clock, and then probably the Patriots take a couple knees and they go in, at halftime. And now they're down 2 scores going in at halftime. Instead, Cliff calls 2 stupid plays, go forward on 4th down. They don't execute. Now the Patriots get it back. They go down. They kick a field goal. They try to give it away themselves with a fumble on their own. And they kick a field goal to cut the deficit to 3. And then they come out at halftime and, and there it is. Like that, to me, that was the game. I don't know how you saw that sequence.
Look, I don't think Kingsbury is a good coach. And you go back to his history in college when he was under 500 as a college coach, and somehow, some way landed the gig because, I don't know, they wanted him to coach Kyler Murray. And I think he just screams coach who doesn't necessarily read the room or understand the situation. They go for it a lot on 4th down in the other team's territory, which, look, depending on the situation, fine. But you don't have your starting quarterback. You call a play that really is a Kyler Murray play, as you said, Greg, on that 3rd down. It's not reading the room. It's the the KYP, know your personnel. You can't call that play with Colt McCoy. And so, yeah, I just don't think he's a very good coach. I do wonder, it'd be interesting to talk to Judon about it. I do wonder if Judon was so aggressive and played that third down the way he did because Colt McCoy was in the game, or if that was just his natural instinct.
For
like
sure.
You said, if Murray's in there, if Murray's in there, does he play it more conservatively and kind of hold the edge versus, screaming across the field knowing, well, I don't really have to worry about Colt McCoy beating me with his legs. So, yeah,
I thought that went on all game. I mean, I think that's part of the if Kyler Murray's back there, even if the Cardinals are down 2 scores, there's no way the Patriots are rushing that hard against him. So Uche and Judon don't get the sacks. I think, obviously, I think that definitely turned them loose. And I think Judon, he's like, whatever, like Colt McCoy is going to beat me. Even if I mess up here, like Colt McCoy, like nobody's going to catch Colt McCoy and get him. So I thought it was definitely a big factor in this game.
Yeah, it's interesting. Somebody tweeted at me, at Nick C Radio, by the way, at Nick C Radio, saying, well, if this pass rush doesn't get it going against this offensive line. And I tweeted back and said, well, I don't know if the defense is going to be super aggressive because Kyler Murray, like this might be a game where you're not trying to get to the quarterback. You're just trying to keep him in the pocket for as long as possible. And obviously that flip-flops as soon as Colt McCoy goes into the game. My overall thoughts before we get to Athletic Greens and then talk about this defense, my overall thoughts walking out of Monday night were like, hey, look, it's always important to win a football game. That's the point. You're trying to win games. I think it's even more important to win a football game when you're on the road and you do face some adversity with some of the injuries they had to deal with. But ultimately, I was texting with a friend yesterday. This team is a meh team. It's a meh team in a meh league. That's what it is. Troy Aikman said it on Monday night. Brady said it like week 2, week 3 when they asked him about parity or whatever the hell. And he said, honestly, what I see is just a lot of bad football. There's just a lot of average teams in the league. Like that, and the Patriots are smack dab in the middle. They are who they are. They are who we thought they would be. Before the season, I said 9 wins. Greg might have said 9 wins. We knew they would be hovering around 7-6, 8-5 at this point. We knew the offense, unless Belichick had something up his sleeve that none of us really understood. We knew the offense was probably going to be pretty bad or at least mid, and that's what they are with Matt Patricia. We knew Patricia had too much on his plate. Like all of these, I'm not really surprised by anything this season by this team. They're a mediocre football team, and they play against bad teams and other mediocre teams. And in this NFL, you can squeak out, 7, 8, 9 wins because that's just what this league is. They're not anywhere near a true contender. So I just kind of walked away from Monday night saying, yeah, the game wasn't great. The team's not great. Be happy with a win because it's better than a loss, and they dealt with some adversity. But this team's not like no one's getting excited about this team. And if you are, I appreciate your excitement. I mean, I guess I wish I could be excited about that. And I wish I could be excited about these games. But that was my main takeaway was like, this team is pretty much meh. That's what they've been all year. And that's what they continue to be. Before we get to the defense, Greg, specifically, tell us about Athletic Greens.
I started taking AG1 because I wanted to make sure I was getting all the vitamins and nutritional supplements I needed in one place. Now I've been on it for 5 months, and I love it. It doesn't taste like it's super healthy. It's kind of has a mild tropical taste, a little minty, and I actually look forward to it each morning. So what is this stuff? With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source ingredients, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging, all the things you're looking for. I take it first thing in the morning. It's now part of my routine, and I'd be lost without it. I love how it contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, while still tasting good. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. It would make a great Christmas gift for somebody in your life. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D, which is huge during these winter months. I got freaking snow on the ground, Nick, already. And 5 free travel packs with your purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Bedard. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Bedard to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
I miss a lot about New England. One of the things I don't miss is snow. All right, so defensively, we've talked about a lot of these things already. Like the Cardinals helped. You were facing Colt McCoy. What do you think Bill Belichick is thinking about his defense after watching this film?
I think he's thinking that they need to tighten some things up. I think that, they did some good things in this game. I mean, I thought, Marcus Jones did a nice job when he was pressed into service on defense, especially.
The Bugs Bunny of football.
Yeah, it was.
Special teams, defense, offense. Soon he's going to take a snap at quarterback. Marcus Jones all of a sudden has become the guy who's doing everything. Iron Man football for Marcus Jones on Monday night, which, by the way, just quickly before you continue, I know people are getting excited about Marcus Jones on offense, and I am too. Like, I think there's legit potential there, and we've seen it. I don't think it was a good idea to continue to play him on Monday night on that side of the ball when Jack Jones goes down with a knee injury and your secondary is floundering. You don't have Jalen Mills. You don't have Jack Jones. Let's put Marcus Jones in the back pocket offensively until you're healthy in the secondary. I thought it was you've got him playing snaps one-on-one outside against DeAndre Hopkins, and then he's going out there to run jet sweep motion pre-snap. I didn't like him playing in the game offensively after Jack Jones went down. I thought that should have been an adjustment. And God forbid if that dude got hurt after catching a screen pass from Mac Jones and then you're down another cornerback. I thought that was ill-advised anyway.
Come on, Sean Wade. You still have Sean Wade. I mean, he looked awesome in the game.
God.
When he got
that third down against Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
My man looked like he was running in quicksand. My freaking goodness.
I mean, it's not only the offensive snaps, Nick. He still returned kicks in the game.
Yeah.
Like, you can't put anybody else out there? I mean, that's when it really, I was like, all right, settle down. Like, somebody tackle Belichick before, he has him punt the ball or something like that. But, I think that Bill will like his sub rush. I thought, the combo of Ekawale, Judon, and Uche did some nice things. But, look, I on defense, again, with no Kyler Murray, I mean, the facts are what the facts are. I mean, the Patriots have beaten one starting quarterback this year. That's Jared Goff when things were going poorly for the Lions and a quarterback who Bill Belichick always owns. Like, he freaks out as soon as he sees Bill Belichick. That's it. Other than that, all the guys are backups. And, some of it's not fair. I understand. But that's just sort of where they are. And why I was sort of bummed. I mean, if the Patriots won that game and Kyler Murray played and they held him down, they did a nice job. You would have been like, okay, all right, well, that's something. All right. But I don't know. I really couldn't take anything. I mean, Colt McCoy is very limited. I heard your old buddy, Adam Jones talking about how Colt McCoy and Mac Jones are the same person, reading off their stats. I mean, obviously it's Jones being Jones, but, Colt McCoy is just his arm isn't even close to what Mac Jones's is. And, watching Colt McCoy operate, it illustrates sort of the line between viable quarterback and backup level quarterback. And to me, it's the anticipation, the timing that you throw balls. So many of his balls were late. Some of them were on time and some of them were a little early. Some of the little seam passes to Hopkins, those were nice. But the ones where he had to drive down the field, they were always late, and it sort of played in. And his lack of athletic ability completely played into what the Patriots wanted to do and what the Patriots have all that problems, so many problems with athletic quarterbacks. That all went out the windows. They could pin their ears back. It was advantage Patriots at that point.
Yeah, I think you look at the first 2.5 quarters or so. That's how I split the game up. From the middle of the third quarter through the rest of the game, I thought the defense showed out and they played well. I especially think the front seven played well. And we've talked about Colt McCoy and why that was. But really the first 2.5 quarters, I was disappointed in the defensive line. They weren't getting a lot of pass rush at all on McCoy. And really the most troubling thing to me against mostly backups up front in a very traditional kind of power run game with James Conner, the Patriots did not play against the run well. And, first and 10, Conner with Colt McCoy at quarterback and a backup offensive line's ripping off like 6-7 yards. He's ripping off 5-6 yard runs all the time on first and second down. And so I was disappointed in the defensive line through the first 2.5 quarters. They got better as the game went on. And as Greg has mentioned, at least a good portion of that is because of the score and the situation. And they knew that McCoy would have to throw the football, and it makes it a little bit easier. But I was disappointed in their inability to cause chaos up front through the first 2.5 quarters of this game. That was a disappointment to me. The secondary wasn't good. Of course, you also were down 2 of your top 3 corners. So, and you've got Devin McCourty, and we all love Devin. We all love Devin, but when you get trucked by Colt McCoy, you might not want to show your face for a couple of days. That was a rough one, Devin. Getting trucked by Colt. That was a rough one. And hopefully he's healthy, because the shoulder could be an issue. And the level of competition the defense is beating, you mentioned it, Greg, it's fair. I do not put it all on, the wins and losses, though, on the defense. Let's be honest. If the offense was better, I think the defense would be better. The defense has had a tough hand. You don't have an offense going on long drives. You don't have the time of possession game. So I do think they've been up against it a little bit, because as you wrote last week and Phil Perry and others, in the locker room, there was some tension. In the locker room, there was frustration and about the offense. And some of that frustration was coming from defensive players, because they're like, what the hell? Like, we're trying to play our ass off, and this offense can't move the damn ball. They can't score in the red zone. So I do think we got to talk a little bit about that as well. All right, before we get to the member question of the day, quick version of the 3 up, 3 down, Greg.
So I'm going to go with the 2 edge rushers, Uche and Judon, as my number 1 and 2. I'm also going to put Marcus Jones in there, and I do want to give a shout out to Mac Jones as well. I thought Mac played well in this game. When given the opportunity and given protection, I thought he tightened up his mechanics from what we saw at the end of the Bills game. For the most part, it was better. He sailed that one pass to Aguilar. Other than that, I thought he was dead on target in this game. To me, that means he took the layoff a little bit, either worked on it himself, maybe went to see Tom House, because I thought it was better. I thought he had some heat on some passes. Things would have looked a lot better if Nelson Aguilar wasn't dropping balls. And I even had Stevenson and Jonnu Smith for drops in this game. But given what he was given in this game, I thought Mac Jones was really good. And to me, I guess I should have mentioned that was something that I took away. Like, okay, now can they block anything and actually call a cohesive offense for Mac Jones to lead a real NFL offense going forward? That remains to be seen.
Yeah, the touchdown drive I thought was fun. He took what was there. He didn't try to do too much. I also thought, for the most part, not every single snap, not every single drop back, but I thought for the most part, he was decisive in this game. There wasn't as much hesitancy. There wasn't as much, double pumping or kind of looking around. He was pretty decisive. And Dan Orlovsky did a really good job of breaking down the Hunter Henry play down the seam when he shows Mac Jones, and, he tweeted out, Mac can play. And during that play to Henry down the seam, Orlovsky showed that first, Mac kind of looked to his left to draw the safety a yard or two to his left. And then he went to his right, and he opened up to his right to make the coverage believe like he was going to throw it, that side of the field. And then he kind of quickly flipped over to Henry and nailed him. So, look, Henry was wide open.
Was that the one in the left or the right seam? The left one that Budda Baker almost got there in time? The right side. Okay, yeah, that play was tremendous. I mean, he was wide open, but hit him perfectly in stride, looked off the safety. Like, that was really nice. The other one, he looked off the safety a little bit, but, man, he was lucky. He didn't throw it with very much heat, and kind of threw it flat-footed, and he got away with it, but that was dicey.
That was a dangerous one. But Orlovsky's point on the seam down the right side was that, yeah, he was wide open, but Mac helped him get that wide open with some eye manipulation and, kind of throwing his body open to the right side to open up that too as well. So if you go find Orlovsky's tweet about it, he's got like a minute 10 video on it. And I thought Mac was good. 3 down.
Let's see. Connor McDermott. Just not.
Yep.
They couldn't find anybody better. Again, personnel choices. You couldn't draft a tackle. The Raiders, who we'll see this week, have a guy named Munford, who they drafted in like the 6th or 7th round, and he's a borderline starter for them. And I think the Patriots wanted him, but I'm not exactly sure of that. Sean Wade, not good in this game, and I'm going to leave the low-hanging fruit of Trent Brown, and I'm going to go with Kyle Duggar. Kyle Duggar missed some tackles in this game. I don't really think he stood out at all. I don't remember very many plays that he made in this game. So I thought this was not a good performance from Duggar.
Before I give you 1 or 2 other names on the down list, I did forget. I think it's fair to mention Pierre Strong and Kevin Harris, who have not played at all this year for the most part, put into a very difficult position on the road, ready to play. Pierre had that big time 44-yard run. Kevin Harris had that nice drive with finished with his touchdown. So props to the 2 rookie running backs who showed up on Monday and were ready to play and came up with some pretty big gains when the offense absolutely needed it. Nelson Aguilar has to be on the down list. And Jonnu Smith is, again, MIA. And I don't know, man. I've lost all hope for Jonnu Smith to be any kind of impact to this offense. And I don't think it's all on him. Again, it's up to the coaching staff to understand what a player's strengths and weaknesses are and to put that player in a position to succeed as much as that player can. And I still think there's at least a handful of times a game you can get the football to Jonnu Smith and let his athleticism take over. But they just don't do it. So it is what it is.
I think you're wrong. I think this is 2 different coaching staffs. He's not good. I mean, you basically have to hand him the ball, and even that doesn't work because we saw him fumble on his way into the end zone doing that. But
we've seen what I would say is we've seen him make at least a few plays, and he made plays in Tennessee. Like, it's not like he was a complete zero in Tennessee. Tennessee figured out a way how to utilize him. I'm not telling you he's very good. They obviously overpaid him. They obviously would love to go back in time and not give him that deal. But you can't tell me that you go games with this guy. You go weeks with this guy catching like 2 passes. Like, that's to me inexcusable. I'm not saying he's going to catch 6 or 7 balls a game, but I mean, you got to figure out what he does. Look at his Tennessee tape and say, okay, what can we do to kind of get him going and get him a couple of touches here and there? Like, get something out of the guy. But yeah, again, he's not anything to write home about.
And by the way, before we get into this, I just want to say, if you're looking for a gift, if you want to support the pod, if you want to support BSJ, best thing to do, go over to BSJ. Get a gift subscription. You just go on there, fill out your stuff, boom, you send it off with an email, and they're ready to roll that day within minutes. So give us a look over there. Yeah,
it'd be a great gift, either for yourself or for somebody that you love, that you know enjoys sports and sports coverage in Boston. Before we get into your thoughts on what's going on with Connor Ryan and at BSJ. Congratulations to Connor. I know you're going to say some words here, Greg. And the BSJ member question of the day has to do with, young journalists and people that are looking to get a job, because Greg is hiring right now. Connor left. Again, Greg will say his piece on that. And there's a position open at BSJ. So to cover the Bruins. So with that in mind, Greg, take the floor.
So, first of all, congratulations to Connor Ryan, who's done tremendous work for us over at BSJ, covering the Bruins and sort of filling in. He's been great. And, while we're sad to see him go, excited that he gets an opportunity and that he's another example of another person using the platform that we have at BSJ to further his career. And so, look, we're not the New York Yankees, okay? We're more like the Tampa Bay Rays. We have a budget, and we're running a business, and there's a certain threshold that we can go to, and if other people find better opportunities, better pay and better situations, all the better for them. And can't thank Connor enough. And I know he's going to do great. And, so like you said, we do have a Bruins opening. I put it out on Twitter, and I just had to rant for a couple of minutes. And Nick, you own a bar, you've run radio stations. Like, I'm sure you've gone through this, but I mean, it's just unbelievable to me. It's eye-opening when, especially dealing with the young generation of people where, first of all, I'm getting tweets back to say like, all right, well, where can I email you? This is a reporting position. Like, if you can't figure out where to email me, you're off the list. Like, you shouldn't have to ask that. Like, this is, reporting is about finding things that people can't readily find. Like, just do a little bit of digging. Right. But the biggest thing is like, I look at some people have sent me stuff. Okay. And I understand links to videos or podcasts and stuff like that. But links to stories, some of these, they just send the URL. So I have to get on there, like, copy, paste. Like, no, I'm not. You should not expect anybody to click on anything for a reporting position where, writing is the biggest part of this. Like use your head, like, think, like, I just don't understand it. Like, I don't want to click on anything. I don't want to have to copy and paste. Like, you should send me a letter, your resume, and like 5 or 6 clips of your best stuff in PDF form. So I just click on it and I read through it real quick. Like, and some people, Nick, are, here's my blog, or like, here's my personal webpage. All my stuff is over here. Screw that. I'm not going to anybody's webpage. Like, if you want a job, bring me the information as quickly as possible, because otherwise you're eliminated off the bat. Like, I don't know what if you deal with this, Nick, but to me, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So I had to hire 3 full-time positions in June. So I went through a lot of this kind of process. I was hiring a writer. I was hiring a digital lead who would be the manager of the digital department. And I was hiring a co-host to host along with me in the afternoons. And yeah, I mean, you get a lot of, hey, go search this out, go search that out. What I would say is, if you're looking for a job, if you're applying for a job, one of the things, aside from, the resume and things that you've done and all, one of the most important lessons I would kind of throw out there to any young aspiring journalist or media personality, content creator, whatever the hell we're calling these people now, including myself. I don't know what we call ourselves now. But if you're looking for one of these jobs, make it as easy as possible for the person who's hiring at that position to get your stuff. And people might hear Greg and they might be like, oh, he's bitching about clicking on a URL. Here's the thing. When you have a position, there's a lot of people that want to work in the media, radio, writing, they want to work in the media. I mean, it's fun. There's a lot of BS that Greg and I do go through, but we're not complaining. It's fun to cover sports. So a lot of people want these positions, and there's not a lot of positions that are open. I was talking to Kelly, my wife, like last week about, the big picture. When you look at the job that I have, like I'm fortunate. I have a job that, less than like 100 people have, given the 2 positions that I've been carrying the last year, and, top 30 mark and stuff like that. Like these are difficult jobs to find. So when an opening happens, like Greg has right now about the Bruins, you get flooded. You get so many people reaching out. You get so much, for me, so much, MP3 and video and audio. And I'm telling you, when Greg and I, or any decision maker in this business has an opening, they have an allotted amount of time to go into their email, read stuff, figure out who this person is. And if you've got 30 emails, if you've got 40 emails, whatever the number is, even if you have 10 emails and you have earmarked like a half hour to go through some of those, every extra step that you ask the hiring manager to do is going to be a shot at you, even if you didn't mean it, because it's like you're literally trying to get to the information as fast as possible. So you're going to skip through. If there's 3 or 4 steps to get to your stuff, I'm going to get to the next email because that person just had their MP3 in there and I can click it and listen to the segment versus, oh, this is the website. And then you can go to the podcast page. And that's what I would say. Well, one bit of advice for anybody trying to get into the media, sports media field, make it as easy as possible for the people who are hiring, because it's a long process. There's a lot of people who apply, and you want to make sure that you get the best opportunity for that person to read or hear your stuff or see your stuff. So that would be my bit of advice.
I agree.
And that Greg Bedard podcast.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I can't imagine, I always just wanted to lay it right there. I want to make it easy so that people could say like, boom, all right, this guy or gal has it together. They're serious about this. They have their stuff in a row. Otherwise it's too easy just to shove you aside. Be like, nope, I'm not I only have a finite amount of time. If you're going to waste my time, it's not a good sign.
He's Greg Bedard. I'm Nick Cattles. Greg Bedard Patriots Podcast with Nick Cattles, brought to you by Athletic Greens. We're back. We're gonna actually record our next pod in 24 hours. So we're gonna be right back, and you guys will get the McDaniels reunion preview coming up. Raiders, Patriots. Until then, be well.